Fiercely independent, she's produced all of her own albums, turned down offers from major companies, started a record label of her own.
I knew that my purpose was different from theirs, and that to get in bed with capitalists was not the way for me to realize my vision of myself or my work.
But they were willing to let you sing about all those things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people, you know, over the years, people have assumed a lot that it was about control. Well, you wanted to keep control, you know, because if you went on a major label, they would tell you what to do. And the independent thing with me is really, it's in my blood. Like, I cannot be told what to do. You know, I was never really worried about control. I was really worried about participating in a system that I think homogenizes, you know, culture and capitalizes on true human spirit and sucks the life out of our art in this country.
So you figured out a system.
Finally, yeah.
So if an Ani DiFranco came along today, there's a system in place that woman wouldn't have to spend 10 years.
Well, you know, I developed my own system based on my own priorities, my own talents and my own abilities, and I think that the answers are different for everyone, you know. I mean, I certainly don't stand in judgment of every artist on a major label. Many of my favorite musicians of all times, you know, are on major labels. My answer is not everybody's answer, and I think that's one thing that I write over and over again in my songs, that I sing again and again. Not so much do as I do, I have the answer, but become yourself. Let's become ourselves. You know, I think that's kind of what I write again and again.
I saw in the letter that you wrote to Ms. Magazine when you took them to task for calling you an entrepreneur,
yeah.
You were angry with them, that you said, I don't want to see Ani DiFranco entrepreneur on my tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see this. And you gave a list of things that you are, and the last one was freak.
Yeah.
And I thought, what does that mean? What does that mean?
It's nice and open-ended. It, you know, it means that I am not with this. You know, you know, for instance, my hair has been freakish my whole life. It changes with the weather. But I just feel more comfortable if I'm in an airport with something on my head that says, I am not with this. You know, I mean, that's a very, I don't know how more specifically to say it other than to take days elaborating the shame and the anger I feel at my country, and the vehemence that I feel about fighting, you know, the destruction and the violence that my country perpetrates in my name, you know. And I show up at airports now, and there's tons of security hubbub, this big show, and I find it very maddening, and people are there in my face saying, we're here for you, we're here protecting you. And I say to them, no, you're not. You are working for someone else entirely. And the big show of this security, you know, meanwhile, I don't feel any safer because, you know, this airport security theater of turning over every leaf is meaningless when your government is watering the roots of violence and putting American lives more and more in danger every day. So having a bunch of people in white shirts at the airport is, I want it to be known that I am not with it.
And so your hair and your songs and everything you do is to say, I'm not part of this.
Well, that's one thing it says, yeah.
While we're at it, you can keep the Pentagon. You can keep the propaganda. You can keep each and every TV that's been trying to convince me to participate in some prep school punk's plan to perpetuate retribution. Perpetuate retribution. Even as the blue toxic smoke of our lesson in retribution is still hanging in the air. And there's ash on our shoes. And there's ash in our hair.
Do your friends know, or your lovers know, that at some moment they are going to end up in song?
If you think, oh,